make chicken and rice, and the first thing that I have here is a giant pan or pot, whatever you want to call this. I've got water in here, so I'm going to bring that to a boil. Alright, so once it starts to boil, and the amount of water is going to vary depending upon how much you're cooking in here, but I basically just put enough to cover the chicken that you're going to be using. And down at the bottom of here, I put in 2 chicken bouillon cubes. And then to that, I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder. Again, this is all just eyeballing it. I don't ever really measure when it comes to this stuff. This is kind of one of my wing it meals. One that's cheap and I can make very quickly. Now I'm adding in garlic powder. A little bit of dill weed. I don't add a whole bunch of that. And that's one that you can leave out. I just add it because I happen to have it right now. And these seasonings you can change up to your liking too. I add in a little bit of celery seed. And then just a little bit of poultry seasoning. You don't really need a whole lot because a lot of the flavor is going to come from the rice that we're going to add to this later. But I do want to add something in there so it kind of flavors up the chicken that I'm going to be boiling in this meal. Just take a few chicken legs, and again this is just depending upon what you want to do, and put this in my water to boil. And I'm just going to boil the chicken legs in this seasoning until it is done. And you don't have to use legs. You can use boneless, skinless chicken breasts and do the exact same step. Really, you just need shredded chicken to add to this meal. It just, you know, this is just how I prefer to do it. So I pulled the chicken out of my broth here. I have it cooling over here, and I've started to pick off the skin. And then what you're going to do is just pull off the chicken off the bone if you're using the bone. If you're not using the bone, you're just using boneless, skinless, just take it out and shred it up. So once you've done that, what you're going to do is take some sort of ready rice. These are Aldi's knockoff versions. You can use them, the ones in the box. I just use the ones in the bag, and I have 2 different flavors here. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and add in both of these in there, and this will be probably enough to feed us for a couple of days. Okay, I just added in a whole 1-pound bag of peas and carrots to this, and what I'm just going to do is let that boil for roughly about 10 minutes. You're just wanting to cook the rice that you just added in there. So whatever your rice says on the back of there is how long you want to boil it for. And then I'm just going to start shredding up this chicken, or really just picking it off the bone and adding it to my pot as I go. Alright, so while you're adding the chicken, it's not really going to come to a good boil. So what I like to do is once the chicken's in there and it's boiling up again, I set the timer for about 5 to 10 minutes, just depending upon how I feel about it. I'm going to let that simmer just a little bit longer for about 10 minutes. I have to do this, but I like to add a little cheese to my soup just to kind of cream it up a little bit. I like adding cheese to it. You definitely don't have to. I just like the way it tastes. I like a cheese, chicken and rice soup. But again, you can do whatever you want with this. So you can add different things. You could take away some things. It really is up to you. But I do like to add cheese to it, so that's why it turned a little bit yellow. Cheddar cheese to it. And now I'm just going to pull it off of here, off the heat, and let it sit for maybe about 5 minutes just to thicken up some. And there's the finished product. This is what it looks like when it's done. You have a nice, fast, simple chicken and rice styled meal.